All right. I think we're live. Possibly.
Hello, everybody. Looks like we're live on my end.
Yep, we're live. And it's Sunday afternoon. I really don't think anybody's here.
Because we have 3 concurrent viewers.
Oh, excuse me.
There's
Um,
someone out there.
uh,
One
maybe.
of them may be you, but the other one. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Oh, well, if anybody is watching us, I do believe I have RSV.
No, that's not a very cool acronym for
It's
like a rap song or something. That's
no, it's such a weird thing to say. It's like RSV. It's like, yeah, it's like you almost forgot to RSVP.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like a disease.
Sounds like a song. It really does. Get down with RSV. Yeah, you know me.
Oh my god. This is gonna be a long show. Meanwhile, Timmy's not here. He's doing everything but the show, apparently.
Yeah, even going to the extent to watch the World Cup.
No.
Which was a great World Cup, though, to be fair. I watched a little bit of it. I watched the ending of it. But yeah, come on now, Timmy. But that does mean that we're back to the normal swing of things. Back to the 2-host format for a bit.
It's true. What is this normal? I don't know. What is the normal
Yeah, I
anymore?
don't know. Normal is a very subjective phrase.
Oh man. This has been a long week. It's gonna be an even longer week, I think. How does my voice actually sound? Does it sound like I can't sound normal.
No, it's definitely a little bit more bass, a little deeper. Sounds like you just smoked a pack.
I feel like I just smoked a pack. Even though I don't know what that feels like, this is what I imagine it would feel
What's your
like.
imagining? If you did, this is how you'd feel.
Yeah, I imagine it.
All right. Well,
You're tired, man. We're just a
yeah, it's a
crew tonight.
dynamic duo. I keep having to get up at Jalen because I want to drive her to work, and so I keep having to get up at her early crack acid on hours to go drive her over there.
I've been sleeping so much; it's ridiculous. Like, because
I need to.
I feel miserable. I like I just like I basically lay and watch TV. This is the most I've been upright for like probably most of this week. But like I find myself as like 7 p.m. and I'm like, I just want to go to bed. But it's like not even time to go to bed.
Oh, but it
Like,
gets
come
dark,
on.
man. It gets so dark so early, so I
Oh
don't
yeah,
blame you.
that's not helping, but I'm just like I have no energy because of
Yeah, no, I
this
got
crap and it's like
you. Yeah.
and I'm not hungry either. That's the other thing is like so I don't think I'm eating enough, but I've been trying, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to eat when you're not hungry.
Gotcha. I always forget how small Universal Hollywood is.
Is it tiny?
Oh, it's tiny compared to Orlando. Yeah, it's one park and it has 3 areas. It has the studio tour area, Springfield, the Simpsons area, and the Wizarding World. That's it. And that's it. That's like there's no second. Obviously, there's no second gate.
What do they have in their Wizarding World?
I think they have. I think they have something. I don't know if they have anything like at Orlando. I think they might have the Express, but it's like it doesn't obviously
Where
lead
does it
anywhere.
go?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it leads anywhere. I think they might have a Forbidden Journey clone.
Oh, okay, that would make sense.
They have Flight of the Hippogriff and Harry Potter Forbidden Journey. I think that's it. That is it. Wow. They don't even have. I thought they had an Express. They do not have a Hogwarts Express. That is sad. That's just a sad. Like that's why me and Timmy were thinking about going there when we were in California, and I'm like, Timmy, we've done everything, and like I don't want to spend. Like I would love to go. I love Universal, obviously, but I don't want to spend that amount of money and then waste time at other parks just to ride rides I've already been on at Hollywood. I mean, at Orlando, because a lot of them are
Yeah,
just clones of what are in Orlando, and I'm like, I'd love to go. They have like Kong. They have Flight of the Hippogriff and Forbidden Journey. I think they have like a Minions ride. Like it's all the same. They have like a Jurassic Park ride. I think their Jurassic Park is the one that's been updated to Jurassic World, but still, they have a Transformers ride, so it's like all the same things, and it was really expensive, and yeah, it just didn't. It wasn't really cost efficient. It wasn't efficient in terms of time we had it in California, but we really thought about it.
yeah, I
But
can
it's just so small,
appreciate that.
and it doesn't really introduce anything new.
Kind of interesting, like
They're the only thing that I've heard that's the redeeming quality of that park, and the only thing that makes it, the only thing that they have
the
that's better
studio
than
tour.
is the studio tour that makes it better
Yeah,
than Orlando. That's the only better experience they have than Orlando. Yeah, that Orlando lacks. Yeah, I've
and
heard that's really great.
Orlando had Nickelodeon Studios, which
And to be fair, what I've heard is that the studio tour takes you through like essentially what you walk around at Universal Studios in Orlando. Like it takes you around New York and like shows you like the studio, like the things that you already see walking around Orlando. You just are basically taking a
oh,
tram ride, and it's kind of like the Jaws ride or like what's the Disney? I've even been on it now. I can't even believe I can't. Jungle. What's the jungle
Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise?
Or,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, where they have like somebody narrating it and telling jokes and stuff. I can't believe I just forgot Jungle Cruise. I was like, I've been on the ride. The movie just came out with Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Huh.
I actually don't know that I've been on Jungle Cruise. It's so weird. There's a lot of rides at Disney that I have not been on.
Mm.
You would think for like me having worked there,
Yeah,
I just, I literally any moment I had, I was on Tower of Terror or Rock and Roller Coaster. Like that was literally that's all I did.
crazy. So I'm really starting to. I don't understand these labor laws. I guess Jalen isn't getting a break today. She's working a 5.5 hour shift and she gets no break.
Yeah, that's normal.
I thought if it was, she said Marshall said if it was under 6, it's stipulated that you shouldn't. You have to get a 15-minute break. But if it's over 6, you have to get a 45-minute break. So now I'm understanding why 5 hours 30 minutes she's not getting a 15-minute. Like she's supposed to get like a 15-minute just rest
Most
period.
places. So the 15-minute break was never like a clock out break. At
Yeah,
least
it's
when
not
I
a it's
was.
not a clock out break. Yeah, it's not still. But it's supposed to be like unspoken. You just take 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and she's not even getting that, which sucks because she didn't eat breakfast this morning because she was gonna eat her lunch during a 15-minute break.
Oh man. No. Oh man, is Comcast going for Netflix?
Sorry. Sec. Compound going for Netflix. Is that?
I don't know. That I saw this link on this one. How the feds may have just handed Netflix over to Comcast. The FTC is blocking Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. It's behind a paywall, though, so I don't know. That could mean a Stranger Things world at Universal, which would be cool, but that's about the only cool thing I could see coming out of it.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, excuse me. All right. Well, you want to start the show?
Yeah.
If there is someone watching, they're not very vocal, so
Yeah. Maybe some more people will pop in later. Talk.
yeah.
All right. I'm ready.
All right. Let me this and 3, 2.
Welcome back, everybody, to another week of Coaster Talk Podcast, the final week of
It
2022.
is the
Yeah.
final. It's the final countdown. Sorry.
Yes.
Those of you who are really listening might notice my voice does not sound normal.
Yeah.
I assure you, I don't feel normal.
You don't look normal.
I don't look normal.
I'm just messing.
No, I know I don't. I managed to make it through Florida. Managed to fly back from Florida. And it was only like hours later that
And Florida didn't leave you, did it?
No. I like the Monday night. Well, the trip home Monday was fun because my flight got delayed, and then there was all kinds of issues with the flight.
Sure, yeah.
Because apparently what happened is another Frontier flight got canceled, so they combined the two flights.
Okay.
But somebody screwed up and didn't say, "Oh, hey, we have to reassign seats." So, like, everybody had seat assignments that were duplicated. So, like, it was a mess. But it was a mess, but it ended up not being that much of a mess, except for one guy. There's that one guy. It comes onto the plane and literally throws his bag and starts yelling at the flight attendant because he paid for a window seat, which, okay, I get your frustration. Like, I understand that. When, like, Frontier, you have to pay to pick your seat. You know, like, people like me, I don't pay.
Extra.
So, like, whatever. I don't care. But, like, I get it. You paid. Okay. But there's a point where you're unreasonably irate. This guy was way beyond that level. And there were even other passengers like, here, take my seat. You can have this window seat. Like, they were like, we were delayed for like almost 3 hours. We're like, we just want to get in the air, you know?
Yeah, and they don't even care. They're just gonna,
But the flight attendant loved this guy. He starts kind of arguing with him a little bit. And then the flight attendant just like disappears for a moment. Then he gets back on the plane and he walks up to the guy and he holds his badge up at the guy and he says, "Here, make a note of my name. It's my name." Spells it for him. And then he walks to the back of the plane and all of a sudden security walks in. Takes him right off the plane. The
There you
entire
go.
plane erupts
Bon
in cheers.
voyage. Yeah.
Yep. Which,
Have a
and the
good
best
trip.
part was we were apparently like overbooked by one seat. And the flight attendant walks up and says, "Is this seat taken?" And everybody around's like, "Not anymore." Brought the guy up, sat down, closed the
That's
doors, and
amazing.
it was great.
That's amazing.
um, but yeah, so it was a fun flight home. Um, it was cool. I met some people in the airport, so we at least I had somebody to talk to for the few hours we were there. It was actually kind of enjoyable time, but yeah. So I got back to Baltimore, and then it's like an hour and a half drive back to my apartment, and yeah, I got home and like I don't know, I was like really congested, and then all of a sudden I started getting chills, and just like it just wasn't good. And that's been the week. Like no matter what I do, I'm winded.
Mhm.
So it seems like I have RSV. I'm pretty certain I have RSV. And hindsight kind of tells me that I actually had RSV in Florida and didn't realize it.
Do you think you contracted it in Florida, or you think you got it and then brought it to Florida
My
and then
my guess is I got it on the flight down to Florida.
okay. Hmm.
So I really didn't understand. Like, I never really thought, I never really read about RSV. I knew it was a thing, but like, I always kind of thought it was like that. It's that infant thing.
Hmm.
I didn't realize how widespread it was. But Monday night, I actually thought I had COVID. The test came back negative, so did not have COVID.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, when I started reading about RSV, like everything just fit because apparently when you get RSV, it doesn't hit you all at once. It comes in waves, and it was weird because everything that happened, like I did have a sore throat and was congested in Florida,
Okay.
but
Hmm.
I like anytime the weather changes for me, my
Hmm.
sinuses go haywire and I get a sore throat and I get congested, but I'm not actually sick. So that was just my assumption. I was like, I flew to into
Hmm.
warmer weather.
Hmm.
It's a given. That's just the way I'm going to feel. I didn't feel miserable. I was just a little bit of a sore throat.
Yeah.
But then I also it was weird because like Sunday we would like go somewhere to eat, and I was down there with Pam, and Pam's like, "Oh, well, where do you want to go?" I'm like, "I'm not really hungry." Like, and then like as I'm saying that, I'm like, "Why am I not hungry? I'm just not." And apparently
Yeah.
that's another symptom of it, and like that was another wave that hit, and I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't think too much of it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the big thing now is just like I get winded. Actually, even just telling this, I'm like,
Yeah. I had an almost indistinguishable series of events unfold a few weeks ago. I have my girlfriend Jalen. She had a similar contraction of either RSV or the flu. It was kind of up in the air what it was, but I thought it might have been RSV. It might have been the flu, and same thing. It came in waves, and we didn't know. And yeah, it was a tough time handling that. And she was down bad for quite some time.
yeah,
Um,
that
but
was
yeah,
most likely RSV then, because it seems like the whole waves thing is a very telltale RSV thing.
mhm, yeah.
When you get one symptom and then you're like, it's a good while. I mean, you're looking for me. It was before I really hit the point that I was like, oh, I'm actually sick. It was like almost like 4 days, I think.
Yeah, and typically they
Three
say
days,
RSV is
something.
very serious for infants and for older adults. Um,
Yeah,
older adults that have already retired. Um, and that's segue into our very first story of the day here. Universal Creative, almost a lot of many of their main executives have exited the company, taken their severance package and exited the company kind of quietly here. Um,
yeah,
over the past month here. And that's alarming. I know to a lot of people thinking, "Oh no, this is it. Universal Creative is gonna obviously degrade in quality." And what are we looking at here with the Universal parks? But
yeah,
representatives from the company did want to stress that they are totally capable and very, very efficient at succession training. And this is something that they have planned for, and they have people who are going to succeed these executives that they feel very confident will produce the same level of talent that the previous regime did.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing is that these are retirements that are kind of in the course
Expected.
of business.
Yeah, and they're expected. Yeah.
It's not like it's not like Imagineering where it seems to be cut. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, like these people aren't upset about stuff. They're just like, it's time. And, and they had apparently NBC, Comcast, whoever the hell they are now. They offered, early retirement to certain employees, and these people are just taking advantage of that. And they're entitled to that.
Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
don't think this is cause for panic.
No.
Um, sure, some things might change, might get better, might get worse a little bit here and there. Different
Mhm.
aspects of things will change. But
Yeah, it's
that's
obviously probably be a younger generation, so obviously there might be some little tweaks here and there, but yeah, I don't think there's any room for panic yet. Um, quite yet.
yeah.
Hold
I don't
off.
think so either. I will say one thing though about my trip that did get me a little bit panicked. Um, Universal started this new mobile ordering thing, and I don't like it. Um, it's one thing if mobile ordering is like an option, but here's the experience that I had. The cafe that's right next to Hulk. I don't even know what they call the cafe. It's a cafe. Um,
Yeah.
we went there to eat, and we walk in, and people are sitting down eating food, but the lines are closed. Like there's chains across all the lines. There's no employees found, and we're kind of like walking around, like what's going on? Like what do we do? Where do we order? What
Mhm.
finally, like another customer actually said, "Oh, hey, here's what's going on. Like, you have to sit down at a table. You use the QR code. You open that in the Universal app, and then you place your order in the Universal app. Tell it what table you're at, and then they bring the food out to you."
Mhm.
Well, okay, that would have been good to know. Um, literally, there were no employees to be found whatsoever.
Mhm.
Later, while we were sitting there, some employees did come out and were walking around. I ended up actually asking, like, well, so Pam and I sat down. We started. I don't install apps on my phone. Like, I hate apps. I don't like apps. I don't want to install apps on my phone. So Pam did the ordering, and she's like, well, we had our freestyle cups. She's like, there's no like, how do we do this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like last time I was in this cafe, which wasn't that long ago, I just gave them the cup and they filled it up. Like they just put it on their little code, scanner reader, and you know,
Yeah.
but I don't know what to do. Like if you put a drink on your order, like they charge you. So I
Mhm.
finally found an employee and I went and asked. They're like, oh no, yeah. So you have to take your cup out across the street down. Like you had to go like. It wasn't just across the street. That area, if you know the whole Hulk area, like that's
Yeah.
a big wide area. You had to go the whole way across to three. I can't remember if there were two or three freestyle machines that were
Yeah,
basically out of
machines.
almost everything.
Mm.
But that's how we had to get our drink. So like I took hers and went and got it. It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. And it really just did not. I just was not happy about that at all. It
Mm.
was just a horrible, horrible experience.
Yeah.
But then it later we were talking. We're like, oh well, we were gonna go to what's the Harry Potter restaurant?
Three broomsticks.
Yeah, that one.
Mhm.
And we're like, oh well, we could do the ordering. But
Okay.
here's the weird thing about that. It was like, okay, we can order in advance. We don't have to worry about it. But we couldn't figure out how this worked because we were just over there the day before, and there was this huge line.
Mhm.
But the problem is like you order food, but you like later you put the table that you're at. So the idea is, okay, you can order food, before you go there. Then when you go there, you sit down at a table and then you put your table number in. But
Okay.
what if there's no tables available?
Okay. Yeah.
So is the whole
Yeah.
process like you order your food, but you still have to wait in line until a table's ready? Like what's the point then?
Yeah.
Nothing. There's
At that
not. It
point,
is
why
not
not just
clear.
have someone
Right.
come
It's
in and
like,
wait on you?
forget it. Like, why don't you just wait in line to begin with?
Yeah.
So we ended up not going there. And like, actually, the rest of the trip, just anywhere that was like mobile ordering only, we just avoided because it's not real clear. We don't really understand what's going on. And it's just a mess. It really just seems like a complete mess.
Yeah. It sounds like
It,
entropy.
it really felt like it felt to me like a regional park cost cutting measure of like, oh, we don't want to have all these employees. And that's not why I go to Universal. I pay a premium to go to Universal to not deal with that crap.
It's supposed to be an elegant, prestigious experience. Yeah. That's their whole draw.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's any. I hope there's no link. That was really the only bad experience I had. The rest was Universal. It was just kind of what you expect out of Universal. Everything was just great.
And
Maybe
that's
there's
something
something
we'll
that we're
touch on
missing.
in the second half. You'll give us a fuller, more in-depth look at your trip, right?
Yeah, we'll talk
Yeah.
more about that. But
Yeah.
I kind of got on the side trail early there. But
Yeah, it's fine. No, totally good.
I don't know.
Totally
I was like,
correlates to the story at hand. So
kind of makes me wonder if that was a good idea. I mean, Universal does have some pretty bad ideas every now and then. See also Fast and Furious.
yeah, it can happen. It doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes those things slip through the cracks, right?
Right.
One of those things does not seem to be Super Nintendo World, which looks incredible. Both at the Japan location and now what we're talking about today here, the Hollywood location will be opening their iteration of this on February 17th of 2023. Looks amazing.
Yes. I am so looking forward to this. Although, of course, I'm going to wait till Florida because Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Epic Universe. All that fun stuff.
Yeah, you gotta wait on the East Coast here, and I wouldn't even. I don't think most non-California residents are probably gonna shoot out here too early because this really isn't as exciting as of a park as this is the Universal Studios Orlando location in terms of what they're introducing, and like we said, obviously there's going to be a whole lot of other gates that are going to be introduced with Epic Universe. So, but this is exciting because we're going to get to see our first North America installment of the Super Nintendo World. Obviously, the first one being in Japan, as I said. So it's going to be fascinating to see this in America and see how people respond to it, see people going into it, and it looks great.
Is this one pretty much a clone of the one from Japan?
I believe it is, yeah.
I kind of had that
more
impression.
More or less a clone, yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to have the same features and rides and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas
they have like the band activated activities, interactive activities, where things will move when you hold your magic band. That's what I call them because of Disney. But up to the to the sensor, yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool. But I think whenever it gets to Florida, it's going to be a lot
epic,
more.
right? Yeah,
it's going to be epic.
It's going to be an epic adventure.
Oh, man.
Don't make Bob laugh. Don't make Bob laugh. He's going there. He's going. All right. Well, let's get on to the next part. You know what's amazing is that Nintendo World will probably open before our next attraction we're discussing here, which is ironic again. The Tron Light Cycle Run at Magic Kingdom. There's a shot of it in the station that we actually have now visible, which is just a funny little story. It's not really a newsworthy story.
Yeah.
But
Did you watch this on Twitter?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, this was a whole ordeal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Coasters and Brews posted about this. They posted this picture.
Oh, I see all the memes that followed.
Oh, it was crazy. Diz Twitter, I can't
Diz
talk.
Twitter was going wild.
They lost their everlasting minds, pointing out that Disney has always had sponsored attractions, and they're right. But it was just funny to watch them lose their minds of like just somebody posting a picture of like, oh look, it's sponsored by, like, it's that initial like defense of like, it's like, why are you defensive when there's not, it's not really, I don't know. They did say like, what is this, a Six Flags park? Which, I mean, it's kind of a fair comparison in some ways. Not really in the same way, but Coasters and Brews, as well as the Drunk Riders,
Yeah.
they're all about memes and like trolling and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So like,
Pulling legs. Yeah.
yeah. But oh my God, like Diz Twitter lost their minds, and it was this whole ordeal. I think they even got picked up by, I don't know if it was Inside the Magic or WDWNT or whatever they are.
News Today. Yeah. What's really ironic to me? The most ironic thing about Diz Twitter to me is that they're quick to critique and to give their insight on the Disney unravelings, the happenings of Disney. But then if someone that from the outside, right? These are outsiders. They're not Disney oriented. They're just coaster oriented. Then it's just, oh, these dumbass theme park bloggers. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not a Disney
right
aficionado like me. You can't weigh in on this stuff. It's amazing because they'll critique and they'll hate and they'll give all of their opinions on the matters of Disney. And then if anyone else steps in, it's full-fledged hell being unleashed on you. If they don't like your take, if they like your take, it's fine.
Exactly. And I just found this absolutely hilarious. I mean, to be fair, Disney isn't Six Flags.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
this is giving me Tron's giving me West Coast Racers vibes, kind of, with the opening.
Well, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Or that, or actually, I think Disney's closer to SeaWorld.
True. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Testing it, and rubbing it in our faces. Sure.
I mean, I don't recall seeing like Takis wraps trains and stuff at Disney.
Yeah.
So it's a different level. I've never been really opposed to advertising as long as it's minor.
No.
Because these things aren't cheap. I mean, let's face it, these rides cost a lot of money. So, and it was also pointed out, I think it was Branderson pointed out that Fast and Furious is sponsored by Napa. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if that was real or Photoshop, but I don't even care because nobody really cares about that ride.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, seriously, like if you say, oh, it's sponsored by this, that's one thing. But if you decorate it if the entire ride is decorated to that advertisement, that's a completely different thing and a big problem. I do certainly like that Universal is, even if they do some advertising, like they keep it very, very minimal, if at all. Because, I think that does, it can impact
the theme park. That is very detrimental to the theme. Like Six Flags, as much as we like to grill them, I'm not really immersed in anything when I'm at Six Flags. So when I'm brought out of that with Takis wraps and Kia trains on El Toro, I don't mind. I'm like, okay, I wasn't really here to begin with for this amazing theming. But that the other thing about Six Flags,
I think the thing is with Six Flags is you, up until recently, you didn't pay as much because it was advertising supported. I mean, that's why you don't pay for TV. Well, let's forget the whole cable argument. But like, you think of broadcast TV, it's free. Yeah. Or you think of YouTube, it's free. I mean, it's free because of advertisements.
Yeah.
So, if you're paying a really cheap admission and advertisements are how they keep that admission cheap, then okay, that's I think that's always kind of been my stance with Six Flags is you didn't pay them a lot, so you kind of expect it to be a big billboard. That's just kind of been my stance. But even in the Disney level is like it's always been like, oh, Test Track presented by Chevrolet. Okay, and then maybe they use Chevy cars, but it's not like they were like, oh, like, I don't know, it's sponsored by Kawasaki and now let's make the cars Kawasaki. Well, Kawasaki doesn't make cars. So like then that becomes a problem. But like if you're using Chevrolet cars on a Chevrolet sponsored automobile attraction, that's not very far away from reality, or that doesn't take away from the theming. You kind of have to stay in your lane.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I do agree that when it's minimalistic and very, very obscured, not really right out in the open. Obviously, they're making jokes where they had like the Bucky's logo on the on the castle, and Waffle House on the Hollywood Tower of Terror. Like, obviously, that's a little different. Um, but they are doing it. It looks on Tron. It's very, very small, little just pop up blob blurb where it says Enterprise. So most people are probably gonna look right past that, and not even be able to see that. But it is funny to see that.
Yeah, and it is. There's plenty of other problems at Disney. Like, let's not let's worry about them than
Yeah.
these little tiny advertisements.
Which I don't even know if you saw, but and obviously this is, I think, just a bit of damage control for Bob Iger. But Bob Iger went out and publicly said Bob Chapek he thought was totally incompetent and was running the company into the ground. Obviously, I think he kind of has to say that at this point.
Oh, he did say that? I didn't know.
I saw an article where it said Bob Iger. Yeah, that's a quote from the article. So he went out and said that publicly.
I mean, let's be real about this. He basically called him out in his goodbye speech. So
yeah,
I mean, it was clear that he had no confidence.
He was unhappy. He was unhappy for sure. Yeah. And Busch Gardens Williamsburg, the fans. Let's move on to the next story we have. They actually a few months back were kind of throwing around the rumor that Mock Tower might see its final season here in 2022, and it seems that was true. As the final ride, 2023 actually, the final rides will be given January 8th, 2023, but 2022 will be its last long actual full season. So yeah, that Mock Tower is its demise is pretty soon.
Good riddance.
I got my last ride on it last weekend or the weekend before, because I go to school nearby, and so I went and rode. And yeah, every time I ride it, the best part of the ride is sitting at the top for 20 seconds and seeing the park. The drop is awful. The ascent is kind of awful. Like, it's just nothing about the ride has anything redeeming to it other than that 17 seconds you get at the top where it's kind of spinning around. You get to see the park. That's nice. That's a nice. And honestly, I would have preferred. Everyone's like, oh, they're giving, they have it in drop mode this year during Christmas Town as opposed to knock. They call it the knock mode, mock mode. They have it in mock mode as opposed to knock mode, which means it goes up and comes down slowly. And they typically have that during Christmas just because it's an observation tower. It's really cold. They don't want to get people cold. But they're having it in drop mode this year. And I honestly would prefer it in knock mode. I would prefer it to not be dropping because I just like it's an observation tower. I prefer that because the drop sucks. It's not even worth it. So I'd rather go up there slowly, not get cold. Yeah. So and the restraints are awful. God, every time I get on that ride, I'm like, God, these are the worst restraints ever conceived by man.
My first time there, I thought that was like the oldest drop tower in existence. I really seriously thought that was an ancient drop tower. Yeah. I was shocked when I found out how new it actually
It opened after Verbolten. That's amazing to me. It's like,
it's unreal.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's the tallest ride in the park. Like, there's so many, like, on paper, it seems like it should be such a great ride, but it's so awful. It's so mediocre. Yeah, subpar. It's just, it disappoints every time. Every time I'm like, I'm going to give it a shot. Maybe it'll be fun this time. Maybe I'm just going in with too much negativity. Maybe if I go in with some positivity, I'll come off and be like, sure, I can see where it has its value, but no. Like you said, good riddance.
Yep.
And I lied. I actually said it opened before Verbolten. It opened a year before Verbolten, not a year after, but it's right around that corner with Verbolten, and Verbolten's still running fine.
Yeah.
But Mock Tower, glad to see it gone. A ride that's coming, and maybe around February, we might hear, hopefully by February, we'll hear some news on its opening, is Airy Force at Fun Spot America Atlanta, the Georgia Fun Spot. We actually just saw some testing on Twitter. Fun Spot America posted to their Twitter, their official Twitter account, some footage of the ride testing with water dummies in the train. So hopefully here soon we'll hear some news out of Fun Spot pertaining to when the opening of this attraction will be. We were all thinking it was supposed to open this summer. So
yeah.
Now, obviously, it'll probably push back some, but
I bought a season pass specifically for it, and that's why
I did too. I thought I was getting some Air Force rides maybe later in the year, but yeah, that never came to fruition. But the ride does seem to be running well, and hopefully this season will be the season.
I heard somebody mentioned that like all of the previous major coasters only did like 5 days of testing before opening at fun spots.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's. I think they were figuring, well, if that holds true, it's going to open Christmas Eve. I don't
It's a
know.
Christmas miracle, maybe. Yeah, that could be their little. That could be their their marketing magic there. That wouldn't be surprising. That wouldn't be surprising. That could definitely be, I think, a move. I think you wait, but maybe not. Maybe again, Christmas could be their draw. Like come in for Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know what their um yeah, who
Motivation
knows.
is, yeah.
They're just an odd park.
They are.
That
Yeah.
chain is just weird.
It is. It is. And to be fair, they're really like on the border of parks question mark. So
Yeah, I mean,
they're
yeah,
they're
they really are
FECs with
more
big
FEC.
coasters. They're FECs with big coasters.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think they have the record for the largest coaster with FEC now with Air Force. But
yeah, probably. I mean, the only other one is Adventure Park USA. That's the only other one I can really think of. Well, I guess
yeah,
Castles and Coasters.
yeah. But I still Air Force is up there with
Yeah,
height and speed and length, so I think that still surpasses those.
yeah,
But yeah, hopefully here soon we'll hear more about the opening of this attraction because obviously that's on a many bucket lists of people. So a little bit of tragic news, not too tragic, but obviously never want to see a fire, which actually occurred at Six Flags Great America on the evening of Monday, which was what was it? That would have been the 15th, the 12th. Sorry, the 12th. Wow, I'm way off. Last Monday would have been the 12th. All right, so yeah, the 12th of December, there was a fire in one of the maintenance buildings at Six Flags Great America. There were no injuries, and the park is closed for winter, obviously, so no park goers in the area at all. But there was minimal damage as well to the building. So not too drastic of a story, but obviously you never want to see it.
right. Yeah, that wasn't a major thing, but something worth mentioning.
Yep, indeed. And last story of the day here
Next to
for
last
us.
story.
Next to last story, you're throwing something else in.
Yeah,
Oh
you
wow,
missed it.
live. I missed it from the. Was it on the
Actually, you
Discord?
missed quite a few.
Did I?
No, I'm actually noticing you missed quite a few. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have a lot more stories to go. Then, guys, stick with us as we update the rundown live. Buffalo Bills, though, to reopen. This is a story that we have from comes from the Vital Vegas Twitter, official Twitter. So they're going to soft open on December 23rd and reopen in mid-January. There's no news on Desperado, but obviously the attraction opening, the park itself reopening, the attraction itself reopening probably points towards Buffalo Bill at some point, reopening Desperado. So
Yeah, that's actually some interesting news that hopefully we'll hear more about Desperado, but Desperado is actually a coaster that I really would like to ride. I mean, I really want to go to Vegas to begin with, but I don't know. It's such a notable coaster.
yeah,
That is the error. The
yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's such a big coaster to miss if you go to Vegas. So it does. We've Timmy and I and like Dan, we've all talked about going to Vegas at some point, but it's like the coaster. Like, we gotta go when the coasters are all open. Like you gotta make it out there when all of these different rides are open, and so it's tough to make a trip out there when some of the major rides are down for
Yeah.
an undisclosed amount of time.
Yeah, but seeing how it looks like they put renovations into this. I mean, this is a Reddit post of a Twitter screenshot of Vital Vegas. So we're gonna take this one with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
Because
maybe it's photoshopped.
yeah,
Maybe
my biggest pet peeve with Reddit is people will post pictures of stuff and
and not
have
link them.
no reference to
Yeah.
where it's from. So yeah, so take it with a grain of salt. But this next story is pretty funny.
Yeah.
It, this first came as this first came as a picture somebody posted on Twitter of the Carowinds sign just like in the middle of a highway, like it just touched down, but apparently a truck hit it. And it's just a fun story. But people were joking like Carowinds is falling down and stuff like that. It was just a road sign for the Carowinds Boulevard sign that was just like laid in the middle of the highway. But I think the other story that you missed is the big one. Winter chill out this
Oh,
year.
okay. I really am not seeing this. Is this in the show prep channel?
Yep, it was there.
Maybe my Discord's not updated to your. Maybe I didn't get the update that you got because I'm really missing that both of those. I don't see them anywhere. But yeah, continue. Winter chill out update.
So, well, I think the reason. Oh no, there's actually one more that you know what the problem was. For some reason, Discord didn't expand these into
Articles.
Yeah, they ended like they're just there as links.
Okay, that might be why I missed them then.
So yeah, so
Yeah, I see them now. Okay, yeah, I see them as links. I don't see. Yeah, I was looking for article bubbles and I didn't see those. Yeah.
Yeah, Discord is just taking so much time of like giving us pop-ups about, oh, look at this new feature, look at this new feature, look at this new feature. Now pay no attention to the content you came here for.
Yeah.
Pay attention to us. Anyway, so all this drama over the whole Hollywood Nights lottery system and all that stuff. Well, guess what? Cedar Point is now
Cedar Point's
following suit.
outdoing them.
Winter Chill Out this year will be lottery based. And what you're going to do is you're going to get your group of 4 together, and your group is going to enter the lottery as a group, which is actually what I had been saying that Hollywood Nights should do.
Are you listening?
Although I do think that I wish the group was bigger. I think 8 is a more appropriate group for stuff like this. More so for Hollywood Nights versus Winter Chill Out. Mainly because Hollywood Nights is, a lot of people will be getting their, like the renting cabins and stuff like that. So
yeah, and Winter Chill Out is like, one day go up, tour for a little bit.
Well, yeah, except it's 2 days this year.
Exactly. That was the transition there.
But the interesting thing is that it's not a 2-day event. It's just more slots open
for people to go.
Yeah, for more people to attend. So I don't think I'm gonna give it a shot. I don't know. I might talk with my family and see, but I don't know.
It's just for me. I guess for you, as far as vicinity is concerned, you have that kind of like Pittsburgh area where you can just kind of shoot off to. But for me, it's like so hard to justify an 8-hour drive for the closed park, and I can't ever obviously include anyone else because a lot of like Timmy and Daniel and them don't want to make that drive either. So it's like I got to either commit myself and maybe you go and we all go, or maybe and now with this group thing though, maybe you get in and I don't, or I get in and you don't. So it's like,
yeah. Well, but we would go as a group, but of course,
I would think you would go with your family. Yeah. So
yeah. So yeah, it does complicate
just go things. Or James Barber goes. That's probably what'll end up happening.
But yeah, so this is it's going to be a lottery system. They've recognized the high demand of these tickets, and in order to level the playing field, they're introducing a lottery application system. So beginning Monday, January 9th and lasting through Friday, January 13th, they'll open a lottery registration form on the Winter Chill Out page, and you can fill it out anytime during the week. No pressure to get online at a certain time to register.
Minimum 1,000 word essay is required. Doing a family history.
They are foregoing the essay, actually. Yeah, so you can request up to 4 tickets per group, and you'll only be permitted to select either Saturday or Sunday. And then the following week, they will randomly select lottery entries for each day of the event. I will say anybody that hasn't been to Winter Chill Out, it is a really cool event to be there when that park is closed, and they do actually get you. The last few times that I went, it was like stations, so you could kind of visit what you wanted to, when you wanted to, like at your own pace. But it was kind of cool. I know we got to go under Millennium Force's first drop and take pictures under there. Maverick's tunnel, like the tunnel entrance. We didn't get to go in the tunnel, but we got to go like right in front of it. And you could take pictures of your family there, or holding the track, or different things. It was kind of cool. If you do go, and they have the laundry services, I'm telling you guys, this sounds like complete hogwash. One of the most interesting things at Winter Chill Out was actually the tour of laundry services, and I don't even know why. It was just so interesting to watch.
Fascinating.
Like I don't. There's something about it that was just really fascinating. My entire family, like that was probably one of our most favorite things that we stopped at. But like everything they have, it's different every year. Here's what I will say though. Winter Chill Out, being that it's becoming bigger, there's less of the getting like inside information. You're not really going to learn it. You want to go and say, oh, I need to go figure out what's happening. Like, is Zamperla rebuilding Top Thrill Dragster? Like, you're not going to find that out. They're not even going to talk about Top Thrill Dragster, most likely.
Yeah.
So don't go there expecting stuff like that. But it is a really cool event. And 100% of the proceeds benefit, I think it's a kid again. It's
Yep. Yep.
yeah. So it's not Give Kids the World. It's the Ohio version of Give Kids the World.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm gonna just add to your thing there. I haven't ever been, but obviously people always go with the idea that they're gonna divulge or expose this big truth that Cedar Point. There's always something going on at Cedar Point. So whatever it is for that year, that annual big piece of information everybody wants to know. I see people go in with that expectation and then leave upset with the event. But that's not what the event's purpose is. It's not, it's not a media announcement. It's not a press release. It's nothing like that. It's just,
also expect to be trolled. They will troll you.
Yes.
They will hardcore troll you. And what I think it was, it wasn't last year. I think the year before that was when I remember walking by it. I actually saw it and laughed at it. Somebody had drawn on a whiteboard inside one of the maintenance sheds, something about like the 500-foot T-Rex, and they did like this quick like little layout thing and like put some facts down. And I remember looking at it, laughing, going, haha, gotcha. And then I think it was 2 days after that, it was all over the place of like, oh my God, they're really building the 500-foot T-Rex. And it's like, oh my God, you guys are all a bunch of idiots. Yeah. Like, you've absolutely been trolled. One time they just randomly brought one of the Manus trains back and just set it in the, they set it in the maintenance room just to get people to ask questions. Awesome. And, it was like you will be trolled. They will troll you. So don't go there looking for inside information, because you're probably going to get it, bring it home, announce it, and look like a complete idiot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well,
I expect there to be a Zamperla sign somewhere near Top Thrill Dragster.
Yeah.
Whether that's what's happening or not, that's what you're going to see.
It'll end up being a B&M, but
oh my God.
Oh man. I know our area of interest, our sphere is typically amusement parks, but we're kind of zooming out and just talking about entertainment in general here with our next story, our last story of the evening here, or the last story of the episode here. Jurassic World is doing a live show. It's called Jurassic World Live Tour, and it's something that's coming to a number of different theaters across the country. And it looks really great. Bob actually included this link, I think, this week, and it looks very, very, very
Yeah.
fascinating.
And apparently, I don't know if this is only for the Florida shows or if this is for the entire show, but UOAP pass holders actually get a discount on tickets for at least for some of the Florida shows.
Okay.
I think they said for Tampa and Orlando, maybe Jacksonville. I think I saw them specifically say, but I don't know. That might be for other ones as well. I know for us, I think Philadelphia is the close one.
For me, it's Greensboro, North Carolina.
Oh
But
yeah, I guess
yeah.
you are closer to
Mhm.
that. Yeah, for me, it's Philadelphia. But it looks like they're going to New York, Connecticut,
Yeah, if you go on their
Rhode
site, you
Island.
can select an option where it's either, obviously you can look through the whole catalog, or you can pinpoint your location, and then they'll find the closest one via your location. So go to their website, and you can figure out which one is the closest proximity to you. But yeah, it looks really cool. They have the animatronics look spectacular. They're very realistic. I've read the show is very interactive. The dinosaurs will come out and look at you in the audience. It really does look like a neat little show.
Yeah, it does. I actually am considering going to this. It looks like it would be neat, even though it'll probably scare me at some point with
Yeah,
some kind of jump scare.
I do like it seems like Universal, obviously, Comcast, whatever, whoever the actual is, someone in the company is kind of propagating this idea, because this is similar kind of to what the Harry Potter walkthrough attraction is that we were looking at us doing. That has a few locations as well. So it looks like they're taking their IPs and they're trying to like do shows and other things outside of the parks themselves that are really, really interactive, and guests can get right up in front with their favorite movie franchises.
Well,
I do like
it's
that.
actually kind of interesting. I was actually kind of thinking the same thing, but this isn't. This actually, I actually, the more I look into this and think, I think this is more. This is more something totally different than like that Harry Potter thing.
Oh yeah, oh it
Um,
is, yeah.
the uh, the Harry Potter thing reminds me of the Stranger Things thing that happened that they
Yeah,
did.
in
I think it was
California.
last year in
It was
California.
yeah, yep.
Um, but this looks more of like this is more of like uh,
It's a theatrical
yeah, it's more like a
show. It is.
concert type thing, but it's
Yeah,
not
no,
really a
100%.
concert. It's
Yeah, no, I just
um,
mean in the sense that there's like it's not necessarily the same exact activities that you're like obviously the Hogwarts, Harry Potter, Wizarding World. That's more walking around in a field, and they have like different things set up, like props set up. This is definitely more like a show, a theatrical performance, and you go to a venue and you sit down and watch it. But they do come out in the audience. The dinosaurs come out, and they do interact with guests too. So I'm just talking about the fact there are these interactive experiences that the parks seem to be, or not the parks themselves, but Universal seems to be propagating, which is great.
yeah. This I think might be the first Universal property to do it.
Harry Potter.
No, because Harry Potter actually is not a Universal property.
True, that is true. You're right. Yeah, you are right.
Um,
Actually, I didn't think about that.
which is actually that's what
But they
actually is
might
kind of
have
making
some
me
play into because I think they bought it for like the use of the like attraction based use. So they might have some play in the
only for in park.
okay
They only have the licenses for in their
in
park.
the
That's like
parks.
that's the extent of that. Which apparently branches to merchandise to some extent, but yeah, I don't think Universal's allowed to even touch Harry Potter outside of their parks. And actually, it's only domestic parks. They even like international, because yeah, isn't it internationally? Their Wizarding World is at some other park, right?
Yeah. Well, there's one at Universal Japan
Is there?
and Universal Beijing. Yeah, there is.
Okay. I didn't realize that. I had actually thought there was somebody else that actually did Wizarding World overseas. So I guess it's not if that's the case, then it's not limited to domestic parks, but to their parks. But yeah, they can't do anything else with the IP outside of
Totally
their parks.
consolidated to the the parks themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. But yeah, it is great to see that Universal's taking a step into that direction. Then, if that's true.
Yeah, and I find it. I think it's going to be kind of interesting. This is something, and this is a little bit off topic, but since we were talking about Harry Potter, I know there's been some thinking that Epic Universe is going to have some kind of Harry Potter. I don't know that I'm so sure about that. And the biggest reason why
I thought it was confirmed that they're having not a Harry Potter but Fantastic Beasts.
maybe
sequels or the
I don't know.
prequels.
So this is the thing that I'm not sure about. Is because of the whole nightmare that is Warner Brothers Discovery right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at HBO's pulling stuff off their platform left and right. They're just, although who knows, maybe they'll outright sell it to Universal.
And maybe this will be a Universal, the second Universal iteration of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just Warner Brothers Discovery right now is just it's a mess, and it I don't know. Like, if your favorite show is Warner Brothers, you have reason to be concerned. I know. I was just thinking of that. I just started watching Veronica Mars again because I love Veronica Mars. I love that show so much. And I was like, oh, they really need to get on this. They need to bring out another season, another movie, something. And then I realized, wait, no, this is Warner Brothers. And I got suddenly sad. It's like, no.
I just quickly pulled up an article from MuggleNet, the #1 Wizarding World source, and they said sources working on the park's development have confirmed that there will be a Fantastic Beasts related area in Epic Universe. It's going to be in the back right corner. It's going to have the British Ministry of Magic and the French Ministry of Magic. Those two rides will be they don't know what they're going to be named yet, but those are the two rides that are going to be included. Yeah, I thought that had been confirmed.
So I guess that was might be the last we see.
Maybe, yeah.
Because they more than likely that happened.
Also, that deal already
for
went
the
through.
merger.
Yeah, seeing they're already building it, I imagine they've already confirmed that deal. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking about the same company that had a finished movie that they pulled because they could do a tax write. They have an entire what movie was that? I forget.
What was it?
I forget what movie it is. They had the movie was completely finished and they completely pulled it to do a write off of it, and it will never see the light of day.
Yeah, I'm not sure of it either.
They're just they're gutting everything. I'm actually going to try to find it here.
Does that mean I need to stall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what movie that is, but totally plausible there.
Oh, well, now Wonder Woman 3 is apparently reportedly pulled, but
I heard Batgirl was one that they were
Batgirl, that's the one I'm thinking of.
That's the one you're thinking of? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
I heard about that being pushed off, but I didn't know
it was like 95% finished. And the whole reasoning is they don't want to pay any not royalties, residuals. They don't want to pay any residuals. Yeah. And because they canceled it, they actually get a tax write-off from like all the money they put into it. So it'll never see the light of day. But now I just found an article with they're taking 800 million to 1 billion in write-offs. I
found 2 billion to 2.5 billion.
It probably went up actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was updated. In a securities filing, Warner Brothers Discovery said that it now expects to take write-offs and impairments related to content and development costs of 2.8 billion to 3.5 billion. Which is up from 2 billion to 2. Oh my God, these people are just gutting everything.
Laying off a massive amount of their workforce. That's pretty great. After the merge of Warner Brother Media and Discovery, they had massive layoffs. So yeah,
Love Life, Minx, Westworld, and the Nevers. Wonder Woman 3.
these are all the works that will never
Time
see the light of
Traveler's
day.
Wife, Raised by Wolves, Legendary, F Boy Island,
I
The
think we can leave it
Gordita
at. I think
Chronicles.
we can leave it at. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's nuts. And this is stuff. And the problem is like these actors that were in like the finished product, like they did all this work, and then they're not going to get any of the residuals that they were expecting.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
this is just like this merger is a nightmare. And yeah, we're way way off topic, but it's just it's a mess. This whole Warner Brothers Discovery thing is just a mess.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, I think that deal for Harry Potter probably went through prior to the opening of the park. But yeah, that could very well be the last time we see it implemented in the parks. Maybe.
Yeah, unless they just outright sell it, because apparently that's what's happening. I think they're selling Westworld and the Nevers to a third party.
Mm-hmm.
It's
very convoluted. It's very
crazy.
convoluted. But when we get back, we will be talking more about Universal and probably a little bit about the Harry Potter land because Bob, you were just there the past week. Also going to be talking about an upcoming trip I have with our co-host Timmy, and obviously hitting the weekly poll of the week, which pertained to the infamous National Roller Coaster Museum and Archives. All that and more coming up right after this break.
Oh man,
You need to take a break for a sec?
I think I'm okay.
All right.
I just need a drink. Actually, yeah, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
You gotta be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Testing. Testing. All right, guys, I lied to Bob. I gotta go really quickly. I don't know if anyone's there, but I gotta go really quickly. I'll be right back.
Somehow I knew he was going to do that.
All right. Sorry. I had to yell at my mom because she was like screaming downstairs. I could hear her on the phone. I could hear every word she was saying on the phone. So I'm like, please, could you quiet down a little bit?
don't know. The reason why I asked is I was going to put up
Yeah, I know what you.
the delay.
I've only been gone for like 10 seconds, so to be honest, so. I just didn't know what point you'd come back and see, and you'd be like, that effer.
So yes, Steph, we're if you're still there, we are live. That is something we need to do. We need to what is the best way to do that? Like when we do delay
Live streams.
yeah, I always try to put it on Twitter, but obviously not everybody sees it. I guess maybe the best thing to do would be just schedule a stream.
Yeah, in advance.
That way, if they show up on Thursday, they'll see that it's scheduled for Sunday.
Mm-hmm. I could. Maybe we could do something on our website too. I could have like a little.
That's true. Yeah.
Something on the website that says update. Live stream will be this time.
Oh man.
I think we should come together before, like, the three of us come together before we start the next year of our show and talk about a lot of these ideas that we have, maybe, and see what we can do.
Yeah.
Like with the release and. Oh, we never talked about our break or our 5 p.m. Sunday releases.
No, we didn't.
I guess I'll add that to the end there because we got sidetracked at the beginning there, but that's cool. We'll just do this here. Maybe we'll add that to the end here.
No. I'm actually I really am considering going to this Jurassic World live tour. Looks really cool.
It does. Philly's not too far for you for sure, yeah. Daniel sent in quite a response to the National Roller Coaster Museum.
Oh, really?
Question, yeah.
There's a ton of kids in these pictures, so I'm guessing this isn't that scary.
No, I think it's definitely family oriented. On the Polar Express.
That animation style where everything looks real, but nothing seems right.
It's
it's like one of the best lines out of Rescue Rangers. Have you watched that?
The show?
No, the movie Rescue Rangers.
Oh no, I've never.
Oh,
you're talking about is that Chip and Dale?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I never saw it, but obviously
Oh my god, you have to watch that movie.
It.
It's hilarious. So many references. Oh man.
Bless you.
I wonder how much the premium floor seats cost.
But it's the same. It's with the animation. It's that uncanny valley theory. It's just they're too close, but like they're not quite there. Like it's the same thing with like androids. Like
yeah,
they're just a hair away from being exactly like humans, and it's just because they're not 100% there. It's uncomfortable.
Oh wow, there's a lot. Just in Philly, there's 7 shows.
How long are the shows? Wonder what their duration is.
There's one 11 a.m. and one at 3 p.m. So, that doesn't really tell you.
At least 4 hours. At least under 4 hours.
Yeah.
Hopefully, there's an intermission if it's 4 hours long. But
No floor seats available on that one. Oh my god.
What's up?
$36 to $66 like for the lower section. Plus $16.50 to $21 ticket fee.
Is that Ticketmaster?
Probably. Of course, it doesn't say. Well, it's Wells Fargo Center, but more than likely it's being handled by a Ticketmaster. Oh, it's presented by Feld Entertainment.
Oh, really?
That's who does the like monster truck stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, they do Ringling Brothers as well?
That would not surprise me. Everybody in the chat, also, if you want to answer the weekly poll this week, Alex and Steph, if you're still there, the question was, what do you think? When do you think the National Roller Coaster Museum will open? And if they open the half of the museum, is that like a turnoff? Is that something like you wouldn't go if only half the museum is open? Or is that something, if they did open half, would you still visit?
There's a Scooby Doo monster truck? What?
Yeah, the mystery machine, yeah.
No, it said Scooby Doo.
It's literally Scooby Doo?
Yeah, it was painted brown and it said Scooby Doo on the side.
Oh, okay, I was thinking the mystery machine. I've seen that one.
Do they have a Mystery Machine one too?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Alex, you could just answer in the chat.
Yeah, go to the chat. Yeah, that'll be easy. Yeah, there's a Monster Jam here. You can see, I think, right? You can see pretty well as my
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
I got to meet Scooby Doo last weekend. I was happy.
Was he nice?
Yeah, actually, it was Scooby Doo, Velma, and Shaggy.
Cool. I thought meeting Ian McGregor was cool.
No, but Scooby Doo is better.
Yeah. Talking dog is something else.
Actually, they're not even saying when it's going to open. They don't
I think
even
he
give a
means.
date.
I think he's saying like it'll be open at some point, and I think he meant to say it'll be open at some point at date at this time, but we just don't know when. We're looking for it to open. They keep saying like it'll be open soon. It'll be open soon. It'll be open soon. It'll be
Yeah,
open soon. It'll
I'm
be open
tired of
soon.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the perpetuity of those claims. It's like, oh my god. Just either just say it's not going to open for a minute. We have some work to be done, and this is how much, like you said, how much work would need to be done until we can, or just stop saying it. Like it's just not going to open soon.
right. Quit giving hope. See my little keyboard?
That's funny.
Hoping this will work as hotkeys. I haven't had a chance to play with it though. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2.
So this week we don't have much to discuss in the second half here, but we do have some fun things to talk about. Bob just took a very big trip to Universal. First Christmas trip that you've taken down there. That's the first Christmas trip anyone in our group's taken down there, for that matter. So we'll get to hear a little bit about that here in a sec. And then also I have a trip to talk about preceding that. So you want to open the floor?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm now a UAOP. I'm now a UOAP, Universal Orlando Annual Pass holder. So I'm trying to do, every 2 to 3 months, take a short, couple day trip down to Universal.
Yeah.
Because it's my happy place.
Really? For real.
It really is. But I also love
For real,
Christmas
yeah.
events. So I was like, oh man, like obviously I've got to experience Universal's Christmas.
Yeah.
So this is kind of an interesting thing. Universal is just awesome. Aside from what I explained earlier in the show, with the mobile ordering thing, typical Universal experience, just amazing experience, even though Saturday was really busy. It was a really busy day. But it still was enjoyable. Because if you've been to Universal, the one thing you know about Universal is they're extremely efficient. So they get people moving through lines pretty well. It was not a good weekend for the Intamans. But they still kept even when you like it.
Universal's best day is every other park's. I mean, Universal's worst day, is every other park's best.
yeah. It's like the thing is like even though they're having issues with a ride, does not mean it's closed. Like they find ways to make it happen safely.
Yeah.
Which is it's phenomenal. It's like where other parks are just like, nope, it's closed the rest of the day. Universal's like, nope, let's bring a couple extra guys over and let's get this running. And they do, and it's spectacular. But I know Hackers went down. I think Sunday was they had a lot more. It was weird. There was actually a period on Sunday where Velocicoaster had a longer wait than Hagrid's.
Wow.
Which, if you know anything about Universal, that does not happen.
That is not normal.
But it was just weird dynamics with breakdowns and how they happened that, everybody kind of flooded to Velocicoaster, and it took a while to refill the Hagrid's queue, I guess. I don't know. It was weird. But it's kind of funny where like somebody that's been around coasters, you kind of get the feel for like, this isn't normal, but they're still making it happen.
Sure.
And one of the things you can tell with Velocicoaster, and especially whenever they're dealing with some type of an issue, you'll periodically hear the horn that says clear the track.
Yeah.
So anybody that's not familiar with this, any kind of, especially a launch coaster, but generally any coaster, I believe, if the ride is shut down, whenever you start the ride back up, on the first dispatch, there's a horn
And
that
yeah, that's all rides.
basically,
Yeah. And Spiel.
yeah, well, I don't think they all have spills, but like it's some kind of sound
Most of
or,
them will. Yeah.
but
Clear the
either
track.
way, there's a there's a really loud horn or some type of a warning that basically says, hey, if you were working on this ride, it's time to go because the train's going to be coming through. And that is purely the reason for that is it's a warning of like, hey, get out of the way, we've just energized the ride and it's dispatching. So what you'll notice with Velocicoasters, you'll periodically hear the honk, honk. You'll just hear it, and then like that'll happen before you see a train at some point. But that's the thing is you can tell like something's not right because they keep restarting the ride. You keep hearing that, but they keep it running, which is amazing. I mean, it really goes to show how much Universal cares about their guest experience.
Yeah.
So that like that's the first thing right off the bat. But like still, I mean, I think Velocicoaster. There was one period where Velocicoaster was like a 90-minute wait. But for the most part, it still remained like around 60 minutes, maybe 70, which was impressive for as busy as the park was.
Yeah, especially I know that time for Orlando is the Christmas season's typically very busy. That's where everyone's traveling from the north just to get to the south and have some warmth. And
Yeah.
that's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. So now my first experience at first I was like, I don't know how to I don't want to listen to this entire thing before you did like do not take bits and pieces out of what I say because there's times where I had different thoughts that kind of materialized into something different, into something more. But my initial reaction of the whole Christmas thing, I thought was like kind of a letdown. It just wasn't. I was like, this just doesn't like. There was a big part of me that was like, King's Dominion nails Winterfest more than Universal's doing their holiday thing. And I really felt that way for pretty much all day Saturday. Things started to change on Sunday, and I think this is what happened. My whole thing with Christmas events is the lights. I love lights. I love light shows. I love lasers. But when it comes to Christmas, like I just love Christmas lights. I love, and they have to be elaborate. Just like putting a string of Christmas lights on your railing. Yeah, whatever. But that was the thing. I think going into it, I was expecting, oh, this is Universal. Like these Christmas lights are going to be absolutely crazy. And they really weren't. It wasn't until Sunday that I really started feeling it. Of like, wait, this isn't just about the lights. Like there's more to this. And that was when I think it was more when I kind of let go of the whole Christmas thing that I started to realize how great their Christmas event actually is. And I say that because there's more. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's like an immersion that's
like a nuance.
Yeah, it's a very yeah. That's the thing. It's more nuanced. It's like, wait, I'm walking through the park in Florida and like, oh, I hear all this Christmas music and good Christmas music. And yeah, there's some lights and it's like, wait, this is Christmas. And it like, whenever you look at it from a different perspective, you're not going and saying, oh, I want to see these crazy, crazy cool lights. You start to realize that there's a lot more to this. Grinchmas, I love that show. Loved that show so much.
Did you get to meet the Grinch? Did you go to the Grinch meet up that they have at Islands of
No,
Adventure?
because that was like ridiculously busy.
Oh yeah, I know.
I
I
don't
thought
think we were going to be able to get reservations to that at all.
okay. Yeah,
Um,
I know it's a very popular attraction because I know I follow the Instagram account and it's spectacular. That Grinch, it's a spit image of the Jim Carrey Grinch, and it's it's amazing. It's so funny. I love it. I would love to have to get the opportunity to do that, but
yeah, yeah. It's there's actually part of me that kind of wants to go back before the Christmas stuff is over, but that's just not going to be possible.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, the Grinchmas show was like really, really great. It's kind of funny that it is actually in the old Nickelodeon Studios building, which excited me
Yeah, I'm sure.
because it's the old Nickelodeon Studios building.
Yeah.
Um, but oh, excuse me. But it's kind of funny because you actually enter through Islands of Adventure, Dr. Seuss or Seuss Landing.
Yeah.
And then you actually walk like through all this backstage area
Oh.
behind like Universal or behind Hard Rock in order to get over there.
Hmm.
The If you are going to it and it is a half hour before showtime, don't bother. You're not going to get in.
Okay.
They literally were closing it because the queue became full a half hour before showtime. So you're going to want to be there at least 45 minutes earlier. There were people there were literally people waiting, like while one show was going on, people were already waiting for the next show.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, and the size of the theater is massive too. I mean, massive. The amount of people that they fit into there.
Wow.
But it is definitely worth seeing. The other thing that is definitely worth seeing is I can't remember the name of it, but it is the
That's great. I've heard about
yeah.
that.
I don't even. I'm sure there's a name.
I'm sure.
It's Hogwarts Cat. I don't know Harry Potter.
Hogwarts Castle?
Forbidden Journey, is that Hogwarts?
Yes, that's Hogwarts.
Okay, so that castle,
Has
they
like
do a light
display?
show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh
seen
my
the
God, is
projection mapping? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was all projection mapped, and they had other lights that kind of lit up the sky, and it was kind of neat too because it was kind of an overcast
Mm-hmm.
night, and like you could actually see the spots in the sky, which kind of added to it. It was just a phenomenal show. I really enjoyed that. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. You don't need to be. That was just very, very enjoyable. If you don't like being in crowds, you're probably not going to get to see that show though.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
Oh my God, you want to talk about a traffic nightmare? So you know how you walk up to, like if you're walking up to there, like coming through Hogsmeade, like from
Mhm.
basically the Mystic Fountain,
Okay. Yeah.
you'll basically at some point before you even get anywhere close to the castle, the path will actually split.
Okay.
If you go right, that is a holding area for people watching this show. So if you go right, it's a dead end. It's literally a sectioned off area
Just
to
for the
stand
show.
there.
Wow.
You have to go left in order to get to like Forbidden Journey. During the show, that all becomes one way. You cannot go back down there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that's returning basically has to walk across the bridge into Jurassic World, and then around. And God bless the employees that try to maintain that, because
Well, wow.
holy crap, there's so many people going everywhere. It was unreal.
Wow. I can imagine.
it was just,
I know. Even just when it comes to like the summer season, and there's a line for butterbeer on one line, and and then
yeah,
there's the regular flow of people. That's crazy. I can imagine
right. Now imagine that
that
like half of that
quadrupled.
pathway being gone.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh.
It was just absolutely bonkers. But they did an amazing job. Like I still go there and watch Universal employees do stuff and still beside myself. Like I don't know how they managed to keep sanity
Yeah,
in that mess. And
yeah.
they did. They did they did a really good job. But
Great,
that's
great.
definitely like that show was just spectacular. That light show was really, really, really cool. And I was really at first I was like, I don't know. This isn't. I don't know if this is gonna be
You
all
had
that
some
great.
reservations. Yeah,
It really was. It really was great. Great.
that's great.
There was. I don't want to say there were fireworks, but there were pyrotechnics.
Okay.
So technically, yes, there were a couple fireworks, but it was more like a pyrotechnics thing
Okay.
than it was just a fireworks show. But yeah, that was really cool. I know there's probably a lot of other things that we missed. I didn't get to. I'm kind of. I'm still not fully sure where it is or what it is. But Earl has his mistletoe pines that I think is somewhere in City Walk, but I never actually did see that. I don't know if it's like a pop up thing when he comes out or I
Okay.
don't know,
Yeah.
but Earl is a really I love the whole
Earl the
history
squirrel.
of Earl
Yeah.
and how he became this like major Christmas icon at Universal. Basically, as I understand it, it was one year they started hiding a squirrel on the Christmas tree, and it's kind of grown into this huge thing. All kinds of really
Yeah.
cool merch. But yeah, if you haven't read about Earl the Squirrel,
Highly
you'll wanna.
recommended. I
What's that?
said highly recommended because I read into
Yes,
it more when you guys were talking about him.
yeah, it's a really cool story of how things happened. Here's kind of a funny thing. I don't. This would be cool. I don't. I'm gonna preface this. I cannot talk. I can't.
It's okay. It's okay.
You know what I'm
Take
trying
a
to
deep
say.
breath. I'm just kidding.
This is just a. This would be really cool. This is just my thought of like this would be really cool. But as you're coming, if you go to the tribute store,
Mhm.
the last, well, I guess it's considered the fifth floor, even though it's not really floors.
Yeah.
But the fifth floor is basically all Earl the Squirrel.
Okay.
And as you're exiting, there's actually signs for these coming attractions, quote unquote, to Earl Land, which Universal does kind of have everywhere.
Yeah.
These kind of like these types of
Innuendos.
signs.
Hmm.
But I don't know why it hit me. I was like, you know what would be really cool is if like that whole section with Woody Woodpecker and Curious George and all of that.
Hmm.
What if that is actually becoming Earl Land?
Mm.
That would be really cool.
That would be cool.
Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I don't know though. He does seem to be kind of reserved for the Christmas season, but maybe they want to expand his
but I
lore out
mean,
into summer,
that doesn't mean
spring,
you can't
fall.
have a year-round Christmas
True.
world.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
I mean, we have stores that are Christmas all year round. Like,
Why
there's,
not?
there are certain things. It's like you got the Christmas in July thing.
Yeah.
You could pull it off. It could. I'm not saying I think that's what's happening. It was just a thought that I was like, that would be kind of cool. And it's
Yeah.
like it is really, if you think about it, Earl's kind of at that point where he's a major.
Universal icon. Yeah. He is definitely, his popularity is growing rapidly, flourishing. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like it wouldn't. That would be. I think that would be kind of a cool thing to have
Yeah.
Earl Land.
Sure. Why
And
not?
I don't know. Do you have to make it Christmas if it's Earl? I don't know. I don't know how you handle that. I don't know. I don't. Again, I don't this isn't me saying,
Purely
oh, this is what's
hypothetical. It's
happening.
purely hypothetical. Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of think it would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why not?
it was just a thought.
That'd be fun.
Um, their eggnog is different but good.
Different. Okay.
Um, I excuse me. Um, so
Made you cough
I
just thinking of it. It was that strong.
yeah yeah no. So they sell like um, it's. I'm trying to think of where I could picture the stand, but I can't picture the surroundings. I'm trying to remember exactly where it was at. It was in studios.
Okay.
It was in a. I think
Drawn a
it's
blank.
yeah. It's somewhere in around like the. I don't think it was far from like Mel's Drive-In. It was like
Okay.
in that vicinity there.
Okay.
But they had a stand. They actually had some like holiday. Well, we actually ate there once, and it was I got turkey dinner sandwich, which was actually pretty good.
Okay.
But they had eggnog, and basically it was meant to be alcoholic eggnog, but they actually sold it non-alcoholic as well.
Okay.
So I got the non-alcoholic, and it did not taste anything like what I was expecting it to taste like, but it was
Mhm.
really good. So I recommend checking that out. But set your expectations to something different than
Yeah.
maybe what you.
Don't expect your traditional. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't like
Fireside
the eggnog
eggnog.
you just go buy at the store.
No.
It really didn't take. I mean, it resembled that, but it was far removed from it. Um,
I imagine different spices and.
yeah, it was just a very different. Well, and it was. I didn't realize it either. Because at first I thought they spiked it. I thought I got alcoholic eggnog, which is why it tasted so different. Because I ordered it and I started drinking it, and then I noticed somebody else ordered it and they got it out of the same exact thing, and I was like,
Ah.
"Wait, what?" But then that other person that ordered it, they actually added shots of liquor after.
Okay.
So that's it basically was the base eggnog that they would actually put the
The
alcohol
alcohol
into.
therefore into. Okay.
Yeah. Um,
All right.
so I know like I should have had notes because there were so many things that I wanted to actually talk about. Um, that
You're
I
running on
know I'm
empty here.
drawing blanks on.
um. Any rides? Do different rides? Oh, you got to ride Mummy for your first time.
I did. Oh my God, yes, mommy. Oh my God, such a good ride. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
it is. It's a fantastic ride.
That was so much more fun than I was expecting it to be. My first ride, I was nervous. I legit, and it had nothing to do with the ride. I was nervous of the jump scares. Because
Of
I
course, of course.
friggin' hate jump scares. I hate them, hate them, hate them.
It is known. Yeah.
But they weren't that bad. And then once I knew where they were at, I like immediately we got off. I was like, oh, that was fun, Pam. We're riding again because now I want to ride it with
Without that reservation, yeah.
right, exactly. With now I know what to expect, and now I can just fully enjoy it. But yeah, that was such a good ride. It was that was just really good. Now I never rode it before, so I don't know how to compare it.
Yeah. Not really much. I don't feel like visibly or like physically. Like it didn't really feel like much change what I've seen. And I don't know. The previous rendition of it was fantastic as well. So they really, I don't think missing much. I don't think there was
It,
much from the predecessor.
Here is the one thing Pam mentioned to me that took me by surprise, but then I started really paying attention, and I'm not sure what to make of this. Those ride vehicles do look a lot like the Green Gosh ride vehicles,
Yeah,
like
they
almost
do.
spitting images,
Hmm.
and they also rotate. So I'm like, there's like a part of me that's like, well, did Intamin borrow that vehicle from Premiere when they built Gringotts, or like it? I at first like I completely dismissed her. I'm like, this is it's it's premiere, you know.
Yeah.
Clearly premiere because you have to crab walk across to get in the ride.
What you do for the Gringotts
Right.
ride vehicle
That was
too.
the
So.
thing, because I was like, okay, we went to ride Green Gots later. I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute.
Yeah, you do.
So yeah, I don't know. Like it
Possible they
kind of,
also looked, I mean, you know, maybe they took some inspiration from it because they were building it in the same park. You know, it's possible that they just kind of copy pasted somewhat of the idea of what they did with Mummy.
yeah, I don't know. But
Or
like
maybe the trains were Universal input. Maybe the Universal had a great input in that, and then maybe Universal said we
that
want
could be
something
too.
similar
Universal
for.
may have told Intamin, hey,
Yeah,
you need to adopt these trains. I don't know, but like the more I really started paying attention to it, because like I was more paying attention to like, okay, well, here's why they're not the same. But I couldn't get there. They're so similar that it's hard. I don't really know.
the headrests are different. That's all I can think of, really.
Are they?
You have like these really big square, like rectangular headrests with Mummy, and with Gringotts it's just flat. There's like a flat back, and you don't have any headrests really.
No, I don't know that they're.
That's at least okay. I to be fair, I did ride the. I haven't ridden the new Mummy, but the old Mummy definitely had these really big rectangular headrests on their vehicles,
Now I'm trying to remember.
and then Gringotts just kind of has like a flat back, and that's it. But
Yeah,
that's all I can think of that's different, really.
I don't know. Like it's just I really question who built those trains both in on both rides. I mean
Yeah.
they're just so similar. Like
Indeed.
so similar. And the thing is they're both doing a show, so it's like I don't know. It's like there's part of me that's like this is just like, you know, somebody said let's not reinvent the wheel. Maybe they
Yeah.
both said let's not reinvent the wheel and they use somebody else completely.
Yeah.
That, you know, somebody else made these trains. Like, I mean, knowing Universal is probably like some set point thing that like, oh, hey, we have these. And
Yeah.
both Premiere and Intamin said, oh, okay, let's
Sure,
use
why
this
not?
because
Let's incorporate
I don't know
that.
how set point always appears in in the mix of
Engineering.
yeah, it's just weird stuff at Universal. I don't know that like that was the one thing that like, you know, from the coaster geek in me, it's just like, wait, what? So if anybody listening knows anything about these trains, please let us know, because I like this really has me really has me curious. But yes, the Mommy, like I don't want to give anything away, but that was just a really fun ride. Really fun ride.
Indeed. It is a great ride. I love Mummy.
Uh,
Anything else?
I'm trying to think. I know there's
Yeah.
other stuff I wanted to talk about. I won't think of it until we're done with the show.
Including the show, yeah. Be like, goodbye, everybody. Wait.
That's exactly what will happen.
All right. Well, if that's all,
Oh, I did get to see the extended queue of Spider-Man, which I didn't know existed.
there you go.
That was actually really interesting.
Yes.
That's a really cool queue.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever seen it, but
I have.
yeah, that was pretty cool. I waited longer than I ever thought I would have waited for Spider-Man, but I'm actually kind of glad I did.
Indeed.
Yeah, I don't know. Rode Velocicoaster a couple times. Lights weren't on the train. I think they were down. Oh, that is the other thing I want to mention. They were running short by at least one train.
Okay.
But the thing that I hadn't experienced before on Velocicoaster was when they're running short. Anybody that knows it, when you clear the paddock, you come into a brake run.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that initial brake run, there's a real sharp right turn into another brake run, which is basically where you end up sitting for for a few seconds until you make your way down to the station. Because Universal's efficiency is based on stacking, which is awesome. Like the way they're just so efficient. But when they're down a train, we kind of went flying through that right turn, which was really whippy and actually a lot of fun. Completely took me by surprise.
Yeah.
That was kind of a really neat experience. I did also purchase the Velocicoaster train, the coaster cutout entire train, because it's just so gorgeous. That was another thing
Understandable.
I did not
Understandable.
know. And I asked on a whim and was shocked when they said, "Oh yeah, we do that." If you go to Universal and you're flying and you buy something and you can't take it home, whenever you purchase something, you can actually have them ship it to your house. There is a fee. I think it was like, at least for that, it was $20. But I just gave them my address right there. They stuck a sticker on the, on the what I picked up. They
Yeah.
they put it on there, and I actually haven't opened the box because I have been sick. But it is here.
Hmm.
It arrived literally. Well, so whenever they do that, they ask you for your return date. So they like basically you say, okay, well, I'm not going to be home until this day. So they'll make sure they don't ship it too early.
Sure.
But yeah, it's really cool. You say, oh, I'll be back. I told them, oh, I'll be back Monday, which was the next day. So clearly they weren't going to do anything with it. But it actually arrived at my apartment on Tuesday. I was really kind of shocked, or maybe it was Wednesday. I don't know. They do require signature though. Like I actually had to give I forget if it was FedEx or UPS, but I actually had to show them my driver's license and all that. So they want to make sure you get it. But yeah, that was kind of cool. I was pleasantly surprised about that.
Awesome. Yeah, that is a neat little option that many probably didn't know was available to them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just have a little to succeed that. I just have a little bit of information to provide for a trip that is actually upcoming. A trip that we'll give you probably the next time we do a show, which we did want to include that in our show. We're looking at it like a 2-week break for the Christmas and New Year season. We'll probably come back sometime around early till mid January. It'll probably be that January. What is it? The 12th. That
This would be
Thursday.
like more like 2.5 week, I guess.
Yeah. So it'll be more like 2.5 weeks. But after that show, we'll be talking about our trip that I'm talking about now. That me and Timmy are taking a Texas trip. We're going to be going to Six Flags Over Texas and the Galveston Houston like boardwalk parks. And so yeah, that's just something I just wanted to include and let you guys know. We're also going to be for a little tidbit here. This isn't pertaining to amusement parks, but we'll be going to an NBA game too. Funny story. I'll give you a funny story real quick. Funny quick anecdote. We were looking at like activities to do, and this was really poorly planned. So essentially, we went in, we booked our tickets, right? We booked our flights. I think through Southwest, and it was like $150 round trip, which wasn't bad considering all the other flights that we're looking at. Because of Christmas time, flights are getting really expensive right now, and we found some pretty cheap ones through Southwest, so we took them. We looked at Frontier as well. Frontier had, and this has nothing to do with the story, but Frontier had some cheap flights, but they were horribly timed. It was like a 10-hour flight when Southwest was like 4 hours. So I'm like, let's just go with Southwest. And we also looked at Spirit, and Spirit was actually more expensive because you had to add baggage, which isn't included. But that aside, we took the Southwest flight, and then we decided to look and see the hours of the parks, right? And so we go to Six Flags Over Texas. Six Flags Over Texas isn't open on Thursdays, and that's when we're flying, and we have the entire day Thursday where there's Six Flags Over Texas isn't open, the Galveston parks aren't open. So we're like, great, we're gonna be doing nothing on Thursday. We flew into Thursday for no reason, and I was like, that was so boneheaded of us. Why did we not check the hours prior to the flights? But then I was like, you know what would be great to go do is see a Dallas Mavericks game, which is the NBA team in Dallas. And I'm like, Timmy, and he's like, yeah, maybe we'll do that. And I'm like, the only way we have to go is if they're playing the Celtics that night. And there's 32 teams in the NBA, so there's essentially 30 other teams they could have been playing. Obviously, they can't play themselves, and they wouldn't be playing the Celtics. 30 other teams they could have been playing. We checked the schedule. The Thursday we're flying in, they were playing the Celtics, and it was like I was like, Timmy, that is divine intervention. That is
It's a
100%.
sign.
We have to go see this game, and so we're going to see that game on Thursday night. But then Friday, Six Flags Over Texas, most likely. Saturday, the Galveston parks, or vice versa. We don't really know the order of things quite yet, but yeah, excited for that. I have done everything in Texas once I've completed those parks, so I want to kind of check off that state. So I'll get that done here in January. That'll be
Nice.
the first week of January. So yeah.
So I actually did think of one other thing I wanted to mention.
Okay.
I got to meet Scooby Doo.
Where
So
are you?
yeah. So there's actually a bit of a story here, and it's kind of funny because Pam's like, I never realized you were such a Scooby Doo fanatic, and I don't think many people do, but I love Scooby Doo. Like when I was a kid, I loved Scooby Doo, but really more when I was a teenager. Like I don't know why. Like when I was a teenager, I really started liking Scooby Doo more and more. I just always loved that cartoon.
Okay.
And all of the spin-off cartoons. Like What's New Scooby Doo is probably one of the best cartoon series that it's I don't think a lot of people know about it, but
Oh yeah,
it's
I
just
do.
it's such a good show. But here's the thing. I never really thought that it's one of those things you don't think about, like oh yeah, some park somewhere there's a Scooby Doo. Like you don't really think like, oh, I can go meet Scooby Doo. When I worked at Disney, I actually one of my coworkers worked part time at Disney and part time at Universal, and he actually played Scooby Doo. And that was the first. That was 1999. That was the first that I knew that there's a Scooby Doo character. I never knew. But when we walked into the park on Sunday, I never got to meet Scooby Doo. Like it just never happened. And by this point, like I didn't like is Scooby Doo really like. Yeah, I know there's movies and stuff, but I never really like. I guess consciously, like I'm not thinking like, oh yeah, Scooby Doo is still a character that's going to be at a park. When we walked in, we're walking down like towards New York, and I glance over and I see the Mystery Machine, and I'm like, Pam, we got to go that way. But it was just the Mystery Machine out, so I got some pictures next to the Mystery Machine, and later we were coming back for the Born Stuntacular, and
Lo and behold.
we're walking up, and I'm like, Pam, we're missing the show. Sorry. She's like, oh, all right, we'll see you later. So I got to like I stood in line to meet Scooby Doo, and yeah, I'm only 42. I mean, it's
There's no statute of limitations.
there's no limitation. It doesn't matter. You can be 42 and still want to meet your characters. There were so many cool characters out that Sunday. I don't know what, like, there was something about that whole morning. There were just characters everywhere in the front part of the park. Popeye was out. Betty Boop was. I had no clue who Betty Boop was. She's walking around, and I'm like,
what?
well, honestly, the reason she was in color. Like, what the? Betty Boop's not in color. And that was the whole thing. As soon as Pam said that, she's like, oh, that's Betty Boop. I was like, oh,
Okay.
that's who it is. Because I had never really seen Betty Boop in color.
Yeah.
But yeah, who else was out there? I don't know. There were just a bunch of older cartoon characters that were they just flooded the streets. It was awesome. It was really truly awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it is. I like that part of Universal too.
Yeah.
Not just the IPs with the rides, but also that the characters get to have interactions with guests. That's really cool.
And that was the cool thing too, because I didn't just meet Scooby Doo. It was Scooby Doo, Shaggy, and Velma, and like we actually had a conversation. It was kind of cool. Like,
was it cartoon Velma and Fred, or you said who? Fred and Velma, or was it
Shaggy and Velma?
Shaggy and Velma. Was it cartoon, or were they actually like live actors? Like,
so they were. I guess you're referring to face actors.
Yeah, face actors.
Yeah, they were face actors. Scooby Doo was not, but
obviously,
they were.
Yeah. You telling me Scooby Doo wasn't a real dog and he wasn't talking?
No, it's a shock. No, but the thing that was so cool was like I walk up to them and they just start talking. Like it was like it was amazing. Like we literally stood there and had a short conversation about how Scrappy Doo sucks, which we
That's
all
great.
know. And then
Yeah.
Pam's like, why are you making fun of Scrappy Doo? I'm like, you clearly don't know anything about Scooby Doo. But yeah, it was really cool. It was just a really cool experience.
Yeah, it sounds like it. But just to transition, while I'm in Texas, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
There is there is one thing I won't be able to do while I'm there. Despite being
You won't be
somewhat
able to
embarrassed.
meet Scooby Doo.
Yeah, I won't be able to meet Scooby Doo or Shaggy or Velma for that matter. No, I won't be able to go to the National Roller Coaster Museum.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And that was the weekly poll for this week. When do you think the National Roller Coaster Museum will open? And if it
Well,
does only open half of the museum, is that something that would be a turnoff to you? Would you not visit seeing as only half the museum would open? Because that was something that they responded to Bob with that point.
so before we get into this, I do want to make a mention because we were last week's show. We kind of did this. A lot of this was unfolding while we were recording. But I do want to say, after we ended the show last week, they finally actually replied with a response that they should have led with. But they actually did reply to me and say, oh, well, we received more things and we basically had to redo the internals of the
Museum.
museum. So they still are working out, they're still finalizing the plans of that. So this is what they probably should have
Kind
led
of bearing
with.
the lead, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would if they would have led with that, like so many people would have been so much more calmer about this. But and I think that's kind of the thing though, is like there's still that big part of me that's like, well, why did it take so long for you to get some kind of a common sense response out? I don't know. I still feel like there's something going on, but I don't know what it is. But I did want to just say that they did actually finally respond after literally
many
making fun of people,
passive-aggressive
attacking
comments,
people, like visibly being abusive to people. They finally answered the question that everybody had been trying to ask that caused them to be verbally abused by the museum. So it's out there.
Yeah.
They're basically redoing the internal plans of the wing that they were going to open in 2016.
Still don't know how redoing that design takes 6 years, but okay. So Daniel, our good friend Daniel, he responded with quite a hefty response. I'm going to read through this. He was the first to respond to our question, which is again, when do you think it's going to open, and would opening only half of it dismay you from going? But Daniel said half a museum is better than none. I've been to many museums when exhibits have been remodeled or closed to the public. Did I really want to see the dinosaurs? Yeah, but too bad. I got to see all the other cool stuff. And then the anticipation of their model exhibit made me want to go back. Also, how many times have parks closed off certain areas as they remodeled them for the next big coaster or ride? Many times. Yep. Does that influence my decision to go? Yes, if it's across the country, I might decide to wait until it's fully open. But if I happen to be in the area, I'll go knowing I'm going to miss and understand I got to experience the rest of the park. Similarly applies to the National Roller Coaster Museum. I don't go to Texas often, but if I'm passing by the museum, I'd rather see the finished displays with unfinished wing than pass by with not seeing anything at all.
Yep, exactly.
So that was Daniel's response to the question we posed. Alex as well, our friend Alex responded, and he said, optimistically and hopefully we see it open sometime in 2023. At this point, I just want it to be open, so they'll stop saying it'll be open at some point at date and time, and it's just starting to get ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is. And I don't know. I really am not going to hold my breath for 2023.
No, I don't think there's any indication that they're that close to opening.
No.
You think, if they were, we'd be seeing, that would be something that they hopefully would be very vocal about, hey, look, we're looking at opening in 2023.
Well, but see, that's the whole problem with them being vocal about, like, they've been saying they're going to open soon for
But
the
hell,
last 6 years.
even if it's anticipated, they can use the SeaWorld phrase. That's fine. Anticipated opening in 2023. Something. Give us something, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Airtime Mike responded. He said, I just want to wait until they open the full museum. No need to half-ass it. We don't open half roller coasters.
I mean, if you're in Roller Coaster Tycoon,
He might send the guests flying. Yeah. And then Latte Boy responded and said, never going to reopen. It's someone's private collection.
yeah.
Matt responded and said, I think it's plausible to open sometime before Tron and sometime after Epic Universe. And then, all right, I'm not even going to attempt to say this name. It's a long username on Instagram here, but they responded. It's RC Coaster 352. There we go. They said it's never going to reopen. It's never going to open, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. There is I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that we could see like this thing never open. Like it'd just be like this perpetual cycle of like it looks like it might open, it might, and then it just keeps continuing on that kind of footprint. That kind of seems to be the framework they're laying here. Is that like they're gonna keep doing these little additions that are gonna add up, and then this needs to be tweaked and this needs to be changed. Here are these private events going on. But yeah, I just don't see a public opening anytime in the near future.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a while, if at all. Yeah, it's just well, I've been through it. I don't need to get into this again.
Yeah, we've been through the motions for sure. But yeah, those are our responses for this week. It seems many people saying they don't think it's going to open. And many people don't want it to be don't care, about the half the museum opening theory that they provided. Other than Airtime Mike, everyone else seems like no, open it and now, and let's get going.
Yeah,
let's
at least
see
give
what's
us
in there.
something.
Yeah, let's see what's in there, and
I think
maybe a wing or two doesn't open, but that's okay.
I think that's the thing too. Is like it's hard to get people to donate at this point because. Yeah, I think if you open half the wing, that's like a good faith. Like, oh, hey, okay, they actually are serious about this.
Yeah,
and
they mean business.
Honestly, if they open like, okay, they're only half done. If they open that half and it's open to the public, I might actually consider sending them another donation.
Yeah,
because at least I know that they're actually going somewhere. But like right now, it's just. I don't know. It's hard, especially after I watch people saying like, look, guys, and then getting verbally abused by them. It's hard to. I think they'll see.
I think they'll see their support thrive when they show us some semblance of an opening.
Yeah,
I definitely think so.
I want them to.
I think that's fair.
I want them to be there. I want this to be a thing, like very badly.
Yeah. It just I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's likely here anytime soon, for sure. All right. So next week's weekly poll, or actually, this will be 2.5 weeks.
This will be next year's weekly poll.
Yeah, 2023 weekly poll. The first weekly poll of 2023. Obviously, I think each year we do this in the same fashion. What are your predictions for the 2023 season? What are we going to see out of the parks in 2023? That'll obviously be posted on social media and on our website. You can find those there and answer the weekly poll. We were going to obviously close the show off talking about the 2-week break. We already talked about that a bit, but we do want to introduce a new concept to everyone. So our release date is going to be shifting forwards for the next season of Coaster Talk Podcast, and hopefully there on out. So even beyond the next season, we want to start doing 5 p.m. Sunday releases so that you guys can wake up Monday morning and have your show on the way to work if that's what you like to do. We just want to have that whole week open for you guys to listen to the show. So we're going to start releasing them on Sunday, episodes on Sunday. Obviously they were released on Monday prior, but this way, like we said, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You got the whole week there to listen on your way.
It also gets our
into
news
work.
out there faster,
Yeah, yeah,
so you're not as far behind as when
For
we
sure.
recorded.
yep. So there's just a little tweak there for next year. Hopefully that finds you in good spirit. Hope you like that idea. It really doesn't hurt anybody. We're not pushing it back. We're only pushing it forward. And that does it for this week's episode. Unless Bob thought about anything else from Universal.
Actually,
Oh!
there is. It just dawned on me.
Oh my gosh.
Dudley Do Rights is closed right now.
Oh wow.
Some kind of set improvements in progress.
All right.
So there's some information for you that I don't
There
know
you
what
go.
to make of.
No,
They
yeah.
better not be taking that ride out because I love that ride
that's a
so
good ride.
much.
That's a good ride.
Even as much as I hate water rides, I love that ride.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, all right. Well, that does it for our show then. To answer the poll, like I said, coastdogpodcast.com/poll is where you'll find it. Or on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Coaster Talk Pod. YouTube, subscribe to our channel. That's where our live streams are and all other video content. That's Coaster Talk Podcast, 3 separate words. You can search us up on YouTube. Contact us, coastertalkpodcast.com/contact, or email feedback@coastertalkpodcast.com with any comments, questions, concerns, or to leave an audio file with the show. And lastly, if you have any aspiring interest in our merchandise, coastertalkpodcast.com/shop is where you'll locate it.
Yeah. And happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah.
Hope you have a great new year.
Yeah.
And,
Signing out. I'm James.
And I'm Bob.
And we'll see you next week, guys. Or 2 weeks, guys.
I'll see you next year.
Next year. Bye, guys. So used to next week. There we go. All right.
Oh, my throat's not happy. I'm more winded than anything. That's what's crazy. So you know what's really crazy?
What?
You know how I've been having all that issues with this laptop? I would have to grab the Ethernet cable and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
This laptop internally has Wi-Fi 6.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can see it, but right down here, I now have an external old-ass USB adapter that's like 802.11n, and it's working just fine.
That's crazy.
So, is there even anybody still in our live stream? Do we need to keep going?
Yeah, I don't think there is anybody here anymore. I think Alex tipped out.
All right. Well, if there is anybody listening to our live stream, we'll see you
next year.
Next year. Hope you guys have a great holiday and a great new year.
Bye, guys.